I have been very vocal on why I believe HBAR is going to make a lot of us rich. I've also been very vocal on why HBAR will hit $1 to $2 conservatively and why I do think that it can hit $2 to $4 this cycle as well. Well, in this video, just as though it is another day, right? We continue to see massive moves by Hedera that I'm going to go over in this video, but I'm also going to be talking a lot about, just the future of the space and why Hedera is right there at the forefront of all of this and why HBAR will be much larger than what any of us even believe. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. Let's dive on in and let's talk about this. So I have been watching development activity on DeFi Llama. Now, Sentiment's another great platform to really kind of track this stuff, but we have here are crypto's top overall coins by notable development activity the past 30 days. Directional indicators represent each project's ranking rise or fall since last month. Now we can see that number one is ICP. ICP is a great project. I've talked about ICP on multiple occasions on this channel. Very great project. There's also another additional, few great projects on this list, but we do see at number 2 is HBAR, and HBAR has actually been on the uptrend here in terms of, major dev activity. In fact, it's actually far more activity than most of the top projects, including, of course, Ethereum, which is kind of crazy. Now, it's right there neck and neck with ADA, but for a project that has 12.2 billion in market cap versus 34 billion almost, and then when we look down the list at Ethereum at almost 400 billion, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to really look at this space in, a perspective where we're like, oh, well, HBAR can't hit this level because of market cap, but Ethereum is at almost $400 billion in market cap, and the dev activity is actually less than HBAR. But it's not just dev activity, right? We also know that there's been a lot of problems arising around this space when it comes to, Ethereum, which, I've been very vocal about, the inefficiencies around the tech and things like that. At some point in time, dev activity on projects like Hedera, combined with the liquidity, combined with the efficiencies, combined with pretty much everything that's happening around the space, the transition to utility, the transition to tokenization, like we're going to start to see these projects that we once thought were going to be the kings of the world, aka Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? They're going to fall. Just as we've seen it in, previous tech asset classes. We see it happen all the time. Go and look at social media. Social media is a great place to look at, right? MySpace. Everyone thought MySpace was going to be around for the next 100 years. It was going to be the best thing ever. This, that, whatever. All of a sudden, Facebook comes out. Boom. MySpace dies. I don't think that Bitcoin will die, and I don't think that Ethereum itself will die, but they will cease to hold these top positions. They will be flipped. Now, in terms of that, right, we know that this next wave, because Charles Atkins, the CEO of the HBAR Foundation, was recently on the HBAR Bulls podcast, and he did say that 2025 is the year that they're going to be focusing on-chain liquidity, higher velocity grants, HTS TVL, more ecosystem tokens, more open source tech, taking existing grantees to the next level, and also focusing on community growth. So we're now watching as the ecosystem around Hedera goes from this full-on enterprise focus to now we're going to be supporting the on-chain activity, supporting the ecosystem, and also providing the retail sector with a lot more growth, a lot more opportunities, and even a lot more offerings as well, in terms of like dapps, for an example. This is very exciting stuff. Now, also, when we look at the market cap side of things, guys, I have 2 projects here selected. It's Ethereum and ADA. Now, if we had the market cap of ADA right now, we would be, up almost 3x from our current price, almost at 90 cents, and almost 33x to Ethereum's current market cap, almost a $10 HBAR. What about if we had the market cap of 88 at its all-time high? Guys, that's almost a 9x at 8.2x, a $2 and almost 50-cent HBAR, 95 billion in market cap. A lot of people think that this is impossible to see, but we just watched as HBAR ran all the way up the list to top 15. Next is top 10. After that, we really look at the top 5, which I did include in my recent video. But outside of this, let's talk about some of the issues in this space. So Vitalik recently has been talking about this new leadership around the Ethereum Foundation. Right now, he's the main person, right? He's the main, player around what happens with Ethereum. Now, Charles Atkins actually did quote this and said, "This is one of the reasons I joined the Hedera ecosystem to begin with. Single point pressure resistance by way of our governing council." Let's think about this logically real quick, right? Hedera is the only ecosystem in this space. And I don't care what anyone says in this space. When we think about this, this is crazy. Hedera is the only player in this space that is governed by massive Web 2 enterprises. ServiceNow, Mondelez, EDF, Shinhan Bank, Standard Bank. A lot of people will say, oh, well, that's centralized. It's no more centralized than celebrating BlackRock launching a Bitcoin ETF, celebrating Fidelity launching a Bitcoin ETF. I do not care about these centralization arguments anymore. In fact, I think that they're all nonsense and low IQ arguments. This space will be centralized. Regardless of if you like it or not, the big banks are about to flood in. Institutions are already here. The technology itself will continue to be decentralized. Nobody will have control over it, but the space itself will be pioneered by the biggest players out there, just as every single other, asset class has in history. But the best part is that we, as retail investors, were first into this space, which means we benefit greatly from this. With Hedera, they already have a decentralized by nature governing council with centralized players on the board governing the network. But the best part is that they don't rely on some individual like Vitalik, who is some, young individual, because he is in his 20s now, right? But this is somebody who has been running Ethereum very well, I will add. But this is a governing council that is filled with companies that have been running for 10, 20, 30 plus years at the highest level, which should provide you with an insight on just how bullish Hedera actually is. But we have here that having representatives from top organizations around the globe, along with the ecosystem partner board members, provide a solid layer of decentralization and sage advice that mitigates a lot of the single failure point risk. Thankful to be here. And yeah, listen, Hedera is next level, which is also why I said it's not just a tech that is outperforming Ethereum or the dev activity that's outperforming, Ethereum. It's also the entire infrastructure around Hedera's ecosystem that is outperforming Ethereum. I'm not an Ethereum hater or anything like that. I'm just being very realistic here and providing you guys with facts. But on top of this, right, we go over here. New paper from UZH and UCL introduces a generalized framework for modeling POS crypto economics, comparing Hedera and Cardano. Key takeaway, Hedera shows higher decentralization while maintaining stable rewards, crucial for long-term sustainability. By the way, this is not the only time that, somebody has put out a report like this. If we go back here, we have this reinforces a recent report from Nodians comparing decentralization across various blockchain networks, which, by the way, if you guys go and check this out, this completely breaks things down completely around how Hedera has consistently, and this goes back from July of 2023 all the way up to July of 2024, so for a whole year, has consistently ranked highest in consensus power equality, outperforming networks like Ethereum, Cardano, and even Bitcoin. This means that Hedera's governance model is highly inclusive, given equal influence across nodes. The report uses two main indicators, the Gini coefficient and Thiel index. And when we look at this, right, like Hedera is always at the top of almost all of these major reports. I mean, it's kind of crazy that people don't realize how ahead of the game Hedera actually is. Like, Hedera is playing chess while all these other projects in the space are playing checkers. But here we actually have the full report. This is from December 26, 2024, so just recently. Under this framework, we are able to further simulate the staking and reward dynamics and show the level of decentralization measured with different metrics of two example protocols, Hedera and Cardano. We observe similar levels of reward concentration on both systems, with Hedera oscillating around a stationary level, while Cardano slowly tending towards higher level of inequality. In terms of level of decentralization, the fraction of active stakers required to control half the network is higher in Hedera than with Cardano, suggesting that a higher relative level of decentralization with the former than with the latter. So again, this is giving us an insight of how Hedera is more efficient than Cardano. And this is not a, oh, hey, this one's better than that one, or, vice versa. No, we're just looking at this from the point of view of facts. Okay. And again, this is why I go back to the whole comparison of market cap. I don't like to say oh, HBAR is better than, ADA, or HBAR is better than Ethereum. I love the tech argument because again, we look for the best in class tech. Now, sometimes you don't have to have the best tech. You just have to be, either first, or you have to have that, adoption. Sometimes it's who you know or who's using your service. It kind of goes back to, it kind of goes back to the whole monopoly sort of idea of how these companies actually buy out additional companies so that they can't compete with them because they know that they have better, technology essentially. But again, when it comes to this space, it's a little bit different. I do think that Ethereum, for the most part, has been a massive chain. It's been a big winner, and it's because of all of the enterprises that were utilizing the private Ethereum tech, because they don't have to actually utilize the public Ethereum network. If they were using the public Ethereum network, then, they wouldn't be using Ethereum. Why? Because it's extremely inefficient. But we do know that we are in a world where public blockchains are actually favored over private blockchains, which means at some point in time, all of those enterprises that are utilizing private Ethereum technology, they're going to have to make the transition. And I doubt that they're going to use public Ethereum. But also, Ethereum has been a massive winner in terms of DeFi, which I've always been vocal about. But at some point, dominance will be usurped. Things will start to change. And I do think that they're already starting to change now, with a lot of the TVL on Hedera growing significantly and a lot more adoption happening around Hedera as well. I love comparing market cap because we do know the tech on Hedera is, significantly outperforming Ethereum. We know that HBAR from a lot of these reports is far more efficient than, Ethereum when it comes to a lot of things in terms of even decentralization or just the entire infrastructure layer. So when we look at this and we say, all right, well, if HBAR did have the market cap of Ethereum right now, we'd be trading at almost $10. Now, am I looking at HBAR going to $10 this cycle? No. But eventually, I do believe that HBAR will be valued at $10 plus. It's the same exact reason why I look at some of these other projects, like, for example, like XRP, okay? I always like to look at XRP, and I love to compare it to Ethereum because this is something that could happen for XRP. I mean, it makes sense. A lot of people think that this is crazy, or that I'm crazy for thinking that XRP could go to $10, but why are we so comfortable with saying, well, all right, well, Ethereum is at this market cap, so, that's because Ethereum is this or that. What, Ethereum, in terms of tech, in the simplest form, is inefficient. It's not a viable network for financial scalability use cases or for tokenization at scale. Which is, again, why I say, when we look at XRP or HBAR, these market caps are not, out of reach. They're not insane numbers. If I was saying, all right, well, XRP is going to hit Bitcoin's all-time high market cap this cycle, then I would be like, all right, well, that's a little ridiculous because it's $2 trillion. We're not at that point yet where XRP, should be valued at $2 trillion. But I do think that we're getting there. We're kind of forging a path to that. But regardless, we're talking about HBAR here. And, as we really look at HBAR, I think that, when we really address this space, I love looking at Dogecoin instead of just Ethereum. And I look at these, projects like right now, if we had the market cap of Dogecoin, HBAR would be trading at $1.26. I think that that's a very fair assessment. Even if we looked at, just Dogecoin itself, and we had the market cap of Dogecoin at its all-time high of almost $89 billion. This was back in 2021 when there was less money in the space, where the space was less legitimized. I do think that HBAR could easily hit these market caps, which would take it to well above my $2 conservative price prediction. But again, I've always said $2 to $4 is achievable depending on how much hype there is for Hedera. And right now, guys, Hedera is becoming a massive player. And if we are going to see a lot of these things happen on Hedera that we are hearing from the CEO of the HBAR Foundation, Charles Atkins, then yeah, I don't think that HBAR is going to struggle at all hitting some of those higher price valuations. So let's watch, wait, and see. But HBAR should definitely be on everyone's watch list right now because of how bullish it is becoming. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.